level, starting out in your journey, what was like one of the major things that got you in peak condition for wrestling, for jiu-jitsu, for all of that?
Honestly, and it's starting to come out more, but just wrestling and jiu-jitsuing really, really hard.
Yep.
Yeah. There's definitely workouts that are going to be extremely helpful when it comes to burning calories, getting better shape, and increasing your cardiovascular ability.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to jiu-jitsu and wrestling, it's the cardio, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the conditioning in that, to me, is the mental conditioning, for one, that says that, like, you could be panting and, like, near heart attack, but your brain is so conditioned to the feeling of being so uncomfortable that it really, like, doesn't matter at all.
Sure.
You look at some of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world. I think Nicky Rod is a great example of it, where, like, his motor just doesn't stop,
mm-hmm.
and he goes hard, and he goes hard, and he goes hard, and he goes hard, and he goes hard. He's just comfortable in that environment. Mm-hmm. And that's somebody that I like to try to model myself after too, where, like, I can feel my breath coming up, but, like, my mindset's like I need to kill, I need to finish right now. I'll catch my breath after the match.
Sure.
And with that too, through experience of wrestling really hard or rolling really hard, you gain experience, and that experience calms you down. You learn how to breathe through certain situations, and just being more calm in general disguises what would be seen as really good conditioning to the untrained eye.
Yeah.
Gordon Ryan's a great example of that, right? Mm-hmm. Extremely knowledgeable, knows the answer to every single position and question that could ever come up. Mm-hmm. So he never has to try excessively hard to make up for lack of knowledge. Therefore, his conditioning, he could go for hours and hours and hours against the best in the world, because he's never really put in a spot to where he has to tense up excessively hard or has to try excessively hard to get out of something. He just always know where he needs to be, like 10 moves before the other guy. Mm-hmm. So you have those two aspects, is the mental conditioning of being able to be comfortable being exhausted, and then knowing so much about your given sport to where you're so calm that you can attack any given challenge that comes your way. Mm-hmm. My friend Austin actually, like, gave me a really good pointer not too long ago, and it was just the concept of, like, trying harder. I think you get into jiu-jitsu and, like, you're put under this idea that, like, you have to always, like, flow and relax and not go hard or not use your strength and all these different things. And to a certain degree, for a lot of people, especially hobbyists, I find that to have a lot of truth to it. However, as a competitor, when you have to call on all your attributes, mm-hmm. you have to get used to using those, like, all the time. Well, at least with your training partners that are highly competitive. And I found myself trying to roll with high-level black belts the same way that I would roll with, like, your typical, like, hobbyist.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong to be either or, but it's a mental state. So then as soon as he told me to just try harder, I'm like, oh, try harder. I get it. So then I start trying harder, and all of a sudden it's almost like I got 10 times better overnight, because I just started trying harder, like, gripping harder, not being accepting to bad positions, like all these different things.
Yeah.
And that then, in result, brings up your heart rate a lot, but then through rolling like that, then you get better condition for that type of pace. Whereas you could go with your team and you could roll with, like, the people that you're comfortable with or the people that you know you can beat, and you can go, like, an hour straight and just flow through it and come through it with a light sweat and think you have really good cardio. Well, you're lying to yourself, and I lied to myself for a long time. And then you go with a high-level black belt for 3 minutes that's kicking your ass, and it's like you just ran a marathon. Mm-hmm. So to me, you have to understand what the difference is, and then train yourself, if you are somebody that takes it seriously as a competitor, to bust your ass against the people that you're allowed to, and then condition yourself differently, like, specifically for that. That's a very long answer to my concept of what conditioning is for those two sports.
Absolutely. It's specific adaptations,
mm-hmm.
right? And you're gaining the edge based off of experience. So you know exactly where you need to be. You know how much pressure you need to put mm-hmm. on someone. You know where you need to relax, where you need to put on tension. And that allows you to keep flowing, because there isn't unnecessary tension, right? Or mm-hmm. there isn't unnecessary strain mm-hmm. where it doesn't need to be. I get a lot of my guys that come into training, and because it's not specific to what they're actually used to, they can go and spar 12 rounds mm-hmm. right off the couch. But I throw them on a prowler right after, and it's like they're in the worst shape possible. Mm-hmm. But it's specific, and you want them to be conditioned for all these things, mm-hmm. right? With you, however, you've been able to pretty much master bodybuilding, right?
Thank you.
You're about to master powerlifting because you're a strong motherfucker. Let's put it like that.
Thank you.
And I mean, you're up there. You're in master level as a BJJ practitioner.